Meow? Okay guys, this is a little embarrassing. You see, after taking a break for several months and starting a new season, I still haven't written a new script. So to compensate for the lack of a script, random dancing! Am I the only one who never got dance scenes? Like, if your movie is about dancing or the entertainment industry as a whole, then yeah, go ahead and dance. But I'm more so referring to the dance scenes in family movies. Now I'm just gonna bypass the whole discussing how being a family movie does not give you an excuse to be lazy part, and go straight into the ways they don't work for me. Some of them are just there to pad out the runtime, some of them are just there to fit a trending pop song onto the official soundtrack, and most egregiously, some of them are just there because writing an ending is too hard. Yeah, so is writing a screenplay in the first place. That's not to say that any film that falls into one of these pitfalls is bad, it's just that these moments are never the highlights. Until now! Back in April, I did something I hadn't done in years. See a movie in theaters. Two actually. Sonic the Hedgehog 2, and The Bad Guys. And out of all of the scenes in both of these incredibly solid movies that I would highly recommend, the scene that stood out the most from each film was a dance scene. How? How was it that both of these films were able to take such a mediocre aspect of most family films and turn it into a highlight? No, seriously, how? I'm curious on how they did it. Haha, just kidding, I totally wrote a script for this episode. I'm incompetent, but not that incompetent. You're watching the LionDog Show, and I'm looking at how both Sonic the Hedgehog 2 and The Bad Guys crafted the perfect dance scene. Also, if you didn't catch it the first time, spoilers. Since it came out first, let's start with Sonic 2. So, does this scene progress the plot of the movie? No, it doesn't. The most it contributes to the plot is setting up the Miles multiplier for the climax. The scene introduces the conflict of the map getting stolen and resolves said conflict by the end of the scene. Is the dancing at least necessary to resolving the conflict? No! Sonic knows where the map is. Why doesn't he just run and grab it? He's Sonic the Hedgehog! Heck, we've seen him in a similar situation in the previous movie, and he didn't need to hit the dab in order to get out of that mess. The scene is extremely contrived and adds nothing to the plot. It can be removed and you can understand the plot just fine. However, while the scene doesn't progress the plot, it progresses something almost as important. Sonic and Tails' friendship. But before that, I would like to say that this scene does a good job balancing out the more serious tone of this movie with the lighthearted tone of the first movie. This scene feels much like a parallel to the first movie's bar fight scene. Both scenes are gratuitous in terms of plot, but make up for it by being entertaining scenes. However, here with the second film's more serious tone, it feels almost like a throwing of the bone to the casual fans of the movies who enjoyed the original's easygoing tone. With a gradual shift in tone, the casual moviegoer will be much more at ease to watch a young girl get shot in the third movie. Merry Christmas! And much like how the bar fight scene helped develop Sonic and Tom's friendship, this scene truly begins Sonic and Tails' friendship. As they initially fail to compete in the dance and get mocked by the audience, we see Tails, given his past, start to get anxious. It's at this moment that Sonic reaches out to him and encourages him to compete in their own way. This moment here perfectly encapsulates the core of Sonic and Tails' friendship. Tails has always been a character who was talented, but never had the support to succeed. When he met Sonic, Tails finally had the encouragement he needed to be who he was and become a hero. While this is usually explored through fighting Eggman, this time it's done on the dance floor. We see him initially mirroring Sonic's moves before he spices up their performance by using his inventions and Tails to win the dance battle. And this all gets summed up with the look they share after they win. A look that means the world to Tails as it tells him that Sonic sees him as his equal. The perfect wrap up to this scene. Outside of the character growth, this dance scene is still pretty entertaining. We get to see both Sonic and Tails bring their best traits to the dance floor with Sonic's flashy moves and Tails' inventions, making for a stylish performance. The choreography is also solid. The most iconic move is a Sonic reference, meaning that this scene will have a longer shelf life than most scenes in this film. Uptown Funk was also a great song selection. It definitely feels like a song I'd expect Sonic to enjoy, and it's a good mix between something recent while not instantly dating the movie. Also, I feel obliged to say that it's a good choice, as it's one of my dad's favorite songs, and I'm worried he'll find my channel someday. However, if you're going to have Sonic and Tails be called freaks, then you should have had Sonic say, "If freaky, then own it." That would have been a nice little nod to the song. That's not to say this scene is an untouchable work of cinema. If I had to bring up any issues I had, it would be that the cinematography could have framed the scene a little better. Most of it is cutting between Sonic and Tails and their opponents, and rarely do you see the two sides interact on screen together. It makes the two sides feel separate, like they're not actually competing with each other. Maybe this was done to save a little on the VFX in some way, but it does take away from the believability of a blue hedgehog and a yellow fox dancing in a Russian bar. Also, I gotta dock some points for Sonic using the Lord's name in vain. My grandma didn't like that.
Oh my god!
Regardless, despite not being the big, crowd-pleasing scene you'd expect from the film, it still delivers an entertaining dance battle with a unique take on an important part of the Sonic mythos. Overall,
I love Sonic!
wow! Only Sonic the Hedgehog 2 could have a dance scene that epic. Well, until 2 weeks later when a little movie called The Bad Guys barged in and said, "Hold my golden dolphin." Now, I walked into The Bad Guys expecting a dance scene. After all, this was DreamWorks, a studio that practically invented the dance party ending, and the trailer featured dancing. Dancing seemed inevitable. Now, while throwing in a DreamWorks dance party in a film like this might feel out of place, this film's dance scene defies those fears and ends up being one of the best scenes in the movie. And unlike Sonic 2, this scene is important to the plot. It's able to blend itself seamlessly into the events of the film. They're pulling off a heist at a gala with live performers. Also, they're backed into a corner. Of course, they're gonna do the first thing that comes to their mind to distract the partygoers. Also, Piranha's singing has been set up twice prior to this moment, so it doesn't feel out of left field. Okay, so the context is solid, but what about the execution of the scene itself? Fortunately, the scene follows through with the same effort put into the rest of the movie. This scene's sleek, dynamic style matches the style of the film's heists and chase scenes because this scene is just as important and exciting as those scenes. Chases are action, heists are action, this is action. I'm action, you're action, we're all action, except for Bill. Be quiet, he's trying to sleep. It also helps that the dance choreographer for the film perfectly captured the characters and their dynamics through how they interact with their moves, especially through Wolf and Diane's dancing with how they begin almost competing with one another before working together near the end. It perfectly nails the relationship. Also, yes, you heard me right, they got an actual dance choreographer to coordinate this scene. It's often easy to forget that scenes like this do take time and effort to put together. Even if you don't care for the scenes, they didn't come from a lack of trying. While the placement in the story and the choreography are both top-notch, this scene peaks with its character development, especially with the star of the show, Mr. Piranha. Up to this point in the film, Piranha has been there mostly to be hyperactive comic relief, making the juvenile jokes that give you secondhand embarrassment when you try recommending this film to your brother and sister-in-law. However, this scene allows us to see a different side of him. He's more than just the team's muscle. He has a passion for singing and is really good at it. He, much like another green DreamWorks character, has layers! He now has a chance to channel his seemingly boundless energy into something positive that wins over the guests at the gala, and made him tie with Mr. Wolf as my favorite member of the team. Sure, he farts from time to time, but hey, so do you, and besides, it's comic book accurate. Yeah, think about that. We never saw Hugh Jackman wear the classic Wolverine suit, but you better believe we lived to see Mr. Piranha fart in the car on the big screen. How did Jurassic World make more money than this? It honestly makes me wish both Webbs and Shark had a moment like this outside of them joining in on the song. Though it makes sense, seeing as this side of Piranha wasn't even meant to be there. For those unfamiliar with the Bad Guys graphic novel series, Piranha is explicitly Bolivian. There's no way you can miss it. Thus, they casted Latino actor Anthony Ramos of In the Heights fame to voice him, and seeing as they planned a dance scene for the film, it made perfect sense to capitalize on his singing ability and have him sing during it. It's crazy how an excuse to utilize their talent unintentionally fleshed out a character that would have been a one-note comic relief with a cute smile. It just goes to show how sometimes the best ideas come together when you least expect it. And they did not waste said talent. Good Tonight is a banger. I'm honestly shocked Chief Luggins didn't arrest him for arson for singing such fire. Like, yeah, the lyrics aren't that deep, but it's a song written on the fly. Lock Piranha in a room for an hour and he'll write the next Bohemian Rhapsody. Bolivian Rhapsody, if you please. Okay, that's enough of Mr. Mutant Sardine. Let's talk about Mr. Tumblr Sexy Man Wolf. This scene is basically the culmination of Wolf's arc throughout the entire film. It starts with Wolf getting asked to dance by a lady, and he obliges because, well, you see, she's dying. Diane Foxington, the governor. These two have had moments to themselves prior, but in those moments, Wolf was always in disguise and saw Diane as more of an obstacle to overcome. Here, you get the feeling that the two feel a lot more comfortable around each other given their previous interaction where they began to open up to each other. Wolf is no longer wearing any disguise, and both of them are acting a lot looser. This scene gives them the chance to get to know each other a little better and enjoy each other's company, which is brilliantly portrayed on the dance floor through the aforementioned choreography. And it's during this this moment that Diane gets Wolf to notice how people aren't afraid of him anymore, without realizing that the performance won the crowd over, and people now love them. At last, Wolf sees that they have the potential to be good people, and to prove this, he returns Diane's ring, solidifying him finally becoming a good guy. You know, the whole point of the movie. Wait a minute. We later learned that the diamond in this ring is an artifact Diane stole as the Crimson Paw, and Diane knew that the bad guys would be at the gala. It's even implied that she knows that Wolf is in disguise. She later steals it back from him to prove that they are not so different, him and her, but she gives it back as a way of leaving the decision to go good up to him. Did Diane set this up as a failsafe? If Wolf and the others became good, then that's 5 less criminals off the streets. If this was just another scam of theirs and they got caught, the police would recognize the diamond and assume that one of them was the Crimson Paw, covering up any breadcrumbs she might have left behind. Either way, she gets something out of the situation.
Clever girl.
I also appreciate how this scene touches on Wolf and Diane's relationship at the end without being too overt about it. The most they do is dance on the heart or butt and look into each other's eyes when they're finished. No kisses or saying I love you. I like that they acknowledge their relationship without making it the focus of the rest of the film. Who knows, maybe they're just saving their relationship for a sequel. If we ever get one, just announce the sequel already, DreamWorks. I'll do anything to see more of these characters, or see you do stuff with the other book characters. Heck, the movie could be Bad Guys 2, Marmalade Goes to Culver's, and I would still buy the Blu-ray. But way to go, Mr. Wolf. You got accepted, you turned over a new leaf, you pulled a bad by being autistic, and you didn't even need to hit the dab to do it. This scene is the total package. It's thoroughly energetic, it highlights a character who seemed one note, and it progressed the major character arc of the movie. It's no secret why it's the second best scene in the movie. Yeah, I would have said it's the best scene, but then I remember that one scene where Wolf puts the sunglasses on the cats, and that's cinema right there. So, what did we learn from these two scenes? More movies need a dancing fox in them. Well, that and 2 other things. First, any idea can be done well. If even seemingly interesting concepts can turn out terribly, then something seemingly ridiculous like dancing animals can be turned into a memorable and endearing experience with the right amount of care and effort. And second, enjoy the little things. Some days or circumstances may not seem important in the grand scheme of things, but the little things you get out of them make all the difference. Even if it's a small thing like playing a game, taking a walk, or talking to a friend, they allow us to take a break from our usually hectic lives and enjoy ourselves or our company. And through these times, we gain a new insight or find something better than what we expected. And when you put it that way, maybe, just maybe, dance scenes aren't so bad after all. But don't take my word for it. No, really, don't. Why would you take my word on anything? I'm not some big YouTuber with 1 million subs and a Patreon. I haven't even reviewed the 2003 classic Looney Tunes Back in Action. Yet. You've been watching The LionDog Show. Have a great day, and stick around for more.